Hello everyone, so today we're going to be working on a design that is inspired by Stripe, and the main focus, although we are going to be building the hero section or try to build as much as possible from their hero section on their website, our main focus is the mesh gradient that you can see on the top left corner, right corner of the homepage, and that is built with WebGL. And to be honest, I was not sure that we're going to be able to achieve something like that in Elementor, but it seems that I'm somehow made it. It's not perfect. I feel like it's a little bit hacky, but I think you can still use it. So I said, although this is a little bit experimental, in my opinion, I think you can still use it in project. And let's get into it. All right, so first thing we are going to be doing is we're going to add a container in here, and we are going to set this container. Let me see. We're going to set it, to full width, 100%, and minimum height to VH and about 80 or 85. Let me just drag it to 80. I'm going to leave it to 80, but you can go all the way to 85. All right, so in this container, first of all, wait 1 second. We are going to remove any padding and any margin that this container has. So our gradient goes seamlessly from one side to the other, top and bottom. All right, so let's add our HTML widget in here, and I am going to add a lot of code in here, but there's a portion of the code that you are able to change and you should change. The rest of the script is just there to make this work. You don't have to interact with it. So I will add the Canva tag, HTML tag in here, and this is basically the only portion of the code that you should interact with. And this is where you change the colors of the gradient. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 colors, and you can change the values in here, copy paste whatever values you want. And there is a way that you can do this, and it's called What a Mesh, and this is fantastic. Basically, this is like add-on tool that you can use together with our code, and it's specifically built for this purpose. And as you can see, these are the colors that this gradient have, and you can randomize them from here. So as you can see, it just generates colors for you, and you can keep doing this until you find a color that you want, or you can just add your own mix of colors. How gorgeous is this? It's absolutely gorgeous. And if we pause it, I don't know why the pausing is even an option in this case, and toggle darken top does this thing. So you can use this tool to generate your colors. Okay, let's go back to our code. I'm going to leave some space here, and I am going to add the script. And there is a lot of script in here. As you can see, it's a lot, but you just have to copy it and paste it. Nothing else. You don't have to change anything, and you should not change anything because this might break your gradient. Honestly, there's no need for you to do anything at this point. All right, just leave it there. And I'm going to be adding a little bit more code, and this time it's going to be CSS. So let me just paste the code in here. And as you can see, our gradient Canva, this is the ID that we are using in our code, gradient Canva, has a height, and the background is light gray, so you can see it here. If we delete this, you're not going to see anything happening. And it's best to leave it on so you have reference to see how high or how tall the width and the height of your gradient. Okay? All right. So let's publish and let's have a look. Ta-da! So this is our gradient. All right, so as you have seen on the Stripe's website, there is a shape divider or design that they have on the homepage where the mesh gradient is a little bit cut off, and the rest of the page contains the hero section, basically the heading and the text and the buttons and everything else. So let's see if we can recreate that. So I'm gonna go in the container where our HTML tag is sitting, and I'm going to go down to custom CSS and I'm gonna go and add our shape. And as you can see, it's already giving our gradient a shape. So let's go and have a look, and voila. All right, so we need to change this color. We don't want to have the color of whatever this color is. I'm gonna go in our page settings and I'm gonna go to style, and I am going to go to background type and give this background a color of white. Maybe it's a little bit too white. Let's leave it at these values and let's have a look. And voila! Our background is white and it's starting to look a little bit like Stripe's website, right? All right, so let's go back to our container, and we are gonna actually add another container on this page. And this time is going to be a container that contains our heading and our image. All right, so let's set this container to be full width as well, 100%. And I'm going to give it a height of 60. And since we want our text to be at the intersection of our mesh gradient and the white background, I am going to give this container a margin top of -600. For now, we'll leave it like this, but we will adjust it as we need it. So let me add a container in here, and I'm gonna set this container to be full width, and width is going to be 55%. And minimum height, oops, let's change this to VH, and it's going to be about 55 as well. Okay, and I am going to be adding an image on the left, and it's not really working, but let's persevere. Okay, it went inside the container. I'm gonna pull it out and move things around like that. And I want to add an image in here, and I'm gonna add this image. It's more or less stripy. I'm gonna set the image to 100% and custom width to about 35. All right, and we also want this image to sit at the, no, we're gonna have it sitting in the center, and I'm going to set this container's margin to custom because we want a lot of space on the left hand side, and now we can do that without adding negative values in pixels. All right, so I'm gonna say auto, and look at that. As you can see, we already have some space here. All right, I'm gonna add a heading in here. All right, so let's set our text here. Okay, let's also style it. So I'm gonna set the color of the text to white, and let's look for our font, and I'm going with New Nito Sans. Switch the size of it to RAM and go big, something around these lines. And I'm gonna set this to 700 bold, and I'm also going to give it a line height of 92 pixels around here. Letter spacing in the negative value of 4. We could go around here, 4.6, and it's nice and sweet. Let's have a look. Okay. All right, so there's something that I want to do right now, and we are still in style, and we're gonna go to the blend mode. We're gonna change this to be difference, and we need to publish and have a look. And as you can see, our text that is overlapping onto the mesh gradient side is changing color as the gradient moves, and it's giving this quite an interesting look. But I want to change the width of this container because it's a little bit too wide. Actually, no, I'm gonna change the width of the heading. Let's go and change it from here and say something around 72, maybe. Yeah, so this is how it's going to look more or less. Okay, so what I want to do is basically move our text to the end. Let's have a look. and it's pretty close to Stripe's. As if you have seen Stripe's website, basically they have a big chunk of space on the left side, so everything is more or less focused on the center and on the right side of the page. So I am also going to be adding a text editor in here, and I am going to set this to be, that is 72. Let's set this to be somewhere around here, maybe. Okay, let me just change the text itself. Let me just grab my text and let's add this in here. Yeah, this needs to be changed, definitely. All right, so, and I'm gonna set this to be in the center, make it smaller. And let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is quite okay. All right, it's looking funny on this side of things, but it's okay. All right, so what I want to do is now add another container right in here, and also change the size of this container. I'm going to say it full width, and it's going to be around basically the same size as our heading, which is 72, and this is 72 as well. All right, and I want to add 2 buttons in here. Where are my buttons? I don't have them here. So where is the button? Okay, I'm gonna set this button to say start now. What is start now? Set the icon to a chevron, and this should be after. Let me change the color. It needs to be something like this, more or less. Yeah, it's not that important at the end of the day. I also will change the border radius to 50, and I am going to set this to be align self start. All right, okay, I'm going to duplicate this. Let me just set this to horizontal, duplicate, done. I'm gonna change the text to say contact sales, and I will make the background transparent, and I will change the text to be I think this color. It's not that important at the end of the day. All right, so I'm gonna remove the gap between the elements. Yeah, I think this should be okay. If you look on their website, you will see that the gap between elements, between buttons, is quite small. All right, so pretty much this is it, guys. I think, yes, you can add more stuff, make it more interesting, but what I wanted to say and focus on is basically our mesh gradient. So there you have it. All right, let me know how you will be using this, if you will be using it in any way, but I think it's such a cool and interesting concept. If you'd like to see what else you can build with Elementor, watch this playlist here. And if you have gotten any value out of this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.